the Great Ocean Road and its stunning ocean view, delicious seafood, rolling coastline, world-class museums, gourmet treats, and to finish, a walk through the treetops in the Otway Forest. Simon and Maureen Forrest here from Extracting the Richness. We're going to show you where to camp and what to see and do on our trip from Adelaide to southeastern Australia, along the Great Ocean Road and into the Otway Ranges. Let's go. When you're heading east, the first mandatory stop is always the Tailem Bend Bakery. What a glorious morning. We're at the South End Bush Park. Look at the space we've got and the setting. How good is that? Now this is unpowered, there's no power water, but we've spent a night here. We had dinner there last night, breakfast here this morning, and it's only a few minutes walk to the beach from here. This place has flushing toilets. It has an outdoor shower. It's a cold water shower, but it is a really beautiful place if you enjoy bush camping. So we moved on from South End and we've ended up in Warrnambool in quite a beautiful caravan park, which I'll show you more of later. But of course we went through Port Macdonald, and in Port Macdonald you have to buy obligatory crayfish.
Yummy, yummy.
This is a pretty flash caravan park. Now one of the things about this park is, and I had a walk around early this morning, it is very, very well maintained. Everything's neat, trimmed, put away. Just a magnificent place in terms of maintenance. And then I just discovered, already knowing there was an outdoors pool, there's an indoors pool. I have never seen that in a caravan park before. Amazing level of detail. And the games room. Fans have been turned on by the staff early in the morning because it's a very warm day here. But again, you can see there's a lot to do here. I mean, this is ideally set up for families with younger children. And more. Tennis courts, playgrounds. And now we've started the tour of the Flagstaff Hill Maritime Museum. And tonight we're coming to see the light and sound show here. Just walking down the hill, I've been into the Examiner, the home of the local paper with all the printing presses. Now walking past the clock and instrument repairer, and the confectionery shop, good thing that's closed, and the dressmaker shop, even a better thing that that's closed. This is clearly a very well established and very well maintained tourist facility, and well worth the money. Down at the bottom of the Maritime Historical Village you come across this very little tranquil spot. Just peaceful. Opposite, unfortunately, the Steam Packet Inn, which I believe was probably a little bit rowdy in its time, especially when you look at some of the clientele sitting out the front. Behind us is the island made famous in the film Oddball, a story about two Maremma sheepdogs who care for penguins on this island. About 15 kilometres northwest of Warrnambool, we come to the Tower Hill extinct volcano. The crater here is about 3 kilometres wide and about 80 metres deep, and the last time it erupted was about 34,000 years ago. There's some wildlife here. We see some koalas, lots of them, but we also see this enchanting little creature. We've just turned up to the Tales of the Shipwrecked Coast at the Flagstaff Hill Maritime Museum. Being a light and sound show, it doesn't start until it's dark, of course, and we're a little bit early, but it's going to be a great night.
The oils on the skin.
Yeah.
We are getting ready for the sound and light show at the Tales of the Shipwrecked Coast. We're just seated now in the auditorium waiting for it all to start. Well, we've just arrived in Port Campbell, had some lunch, and now we're walking over this bridge, over a river. Well, not much of a river now, and we're going to climb those stairs, if you can see them, up to the left. See how far we go. Beautiful countryside. Show you more later on. You can see the beach at Port Campbell. Maureen and I swam there with our sons quite a few years ago now. Would have to say, the coldest water anywhere I've ever swum in. Freezing. And here we go up the stairs. There's lots of them. Not sure we're going to get to the top. What do you think?
we'll get further than this.
Further than this, yeah, we've done the first 18 steps.
We'll take lots of photos
Yeah.
as we go up.
Yeah, we make out
Whoops.
the photos we think are, you know, we're selling it as need for photos. It's really need to catch our breath, get oxygen. Here we go. So we've just climbed, I don't know, maybe 100 steps above Port Campbell, and now walking along this beautifully forested path, hard path. Quite pleasant, nice temperature, a bit of a breeze blowing, and we're heading towards the coast again. So not sure where this is going to bring us out, but I've got a sneaking suspicion the end point of this is a brewery. Let's hope. And this is Port Campbell from the cliff tops. Nice little town.
Really? Do we have to?
Well, you can stay up here all night, but it'll get pretty cold.
Yeah, probably.
And there's no sparkling Shiraz up here.
Oh, bad luck. I'm down.
That is a lot of steps. But keep on stepping. Nearly there.
Are we?
Nah.
Tell me the truth.
Really nearly there now, more.
Tell me the truth.
Well, that's not quite the truth because you can't handle the truth. Good news, we got to the brewery. Just got to get inside now. Well, the news isn't quite as good. It's closed. Righto. Down to the ocean front to a bar. Well, we've just had delicious coffee. Homemade scones, jam and cream, top shelf at a creamery. But it's just out of Timboon, and now we're on our way into Timboon. We're on a gourmet trail, just what we need. This is the town of Timboon, not very far from Port Campbell on the Great Ocean Road. It is the prettiest little town. Just have a look at the trees right in the centre of the town. How beautiful is that? As I said earlier, there's a gourmet trail, and one of the things here is the gourmet butcher shop. What a really pretty place this is. With a lot of things to do on a gourmet trail: distilleries, craft breweries, bakeries, creameries, lolly shops. They're all the basic food group. Well, as luck would have it, we've just come across the Timboon Ice Creamery. Lana's rhubarb and strawberry, no, raspberry.
And mint and chocolate chip.
We've just left a fudge factory. A little bit down the road, we've come to the cheese maker. A little sign that says, "Welcome to cheese tastings and great views." That's got to be us. And we're on the Apostles Artisans Gourmet Trail. We have just had the loveliest experience in this cheese maker's place. The cheeses were really delicious, and the guy who owns it, standing back there in the black glasses, he was a great host and a really good salesman. Been a lovely experience. Well, how lucky have we? We've just left the cheese place, and a little bit further down the road we come to, can you believe it, the chocolate maker. Righto, inside we go, taste the chocolate. Well, that finishes the 12 Apostles Gourmet Trail. So now we're going to start having a look at the sights along the Great Ocean Road. As you'll see, we're in the car park. We've got a lot of friends here today. Parked the car with a lot of other people and come through the Visitor Information Centre, which is quite substantial. And now we're going to take the walk to the 12 Apostles Lookouts. A very good, wide, well-formed path which takes you underneath the main road and out towards the 12 Apostles Lookout. You can never get enough magnificent coastal scenery, but I think the views along the Great Australian Bight are better than these views. Let me know if you think I'm right in the comments below. Infrastructure here is really very sophisticated. It's accessible infrastructure, it's very well maintained, and there's lots of room, as you can tell by the crowds here. As well as that, the views are really good. So we pulled in to Lockhart Gorge. Lockhart Gorge is named after a clipper that was wrecked here in 1878. So once again, the infrastructure here is very good. Well-formed paths, fences, lots of car parking. It's really pretty good. The great tragedy of this story is that the Lockhart clipper left England to make its way to Melbourne, and in fact was nearly in Melbourne. In fact, the night before the tragedy, they all had a party on board to celebrate the fact that they were nearly at Melbourne, but the next day and the next night, it all turned sour on them. As mist covered their lighthouse signal, they ran aground with the breakers belting them onto the shore. Really sad story, nearly there, not just quite. This is Mutton Bird Island, and on this island, mutton birds come obviously to breed. They come from Alaska. They fly 600 kilometres a day, mainly gliding, come down here, breed and feed in the warm waters.
Hilly, windy, beautiful growth all around us.
We've left the Great Ocean Road and we're on the way to the Otway State Forest. It was a difficult drive in lots of ways because it was steep, windy, and the last bit had some rough dirt road on it, but it's worth the drive. It is just beautiful. I'm just going to show you the skyline above our van. And then down again. And this is the countryside that we're surrounded by. It is truly beautiful. There are very few people here, although there are lots of sites in here. I'm just going to go for a little walk and show you. So they've made these raised roads. Obviously it gets wet here, being high in the ranges. And all these trees have been cut down to determine the roadside, and then you have to drive off in between the trees and put your van, tents, campers, whatever you've got, and there you are. There's fire pits, there's tables. Out in the background there you can see a big open grassed area. You can't park there, but you can camp there, and there are toilets and showers as well. So all in all, this is really a beautiful spot, The fee was $0. It cost nothing to camp here, that's the other amazing thing. We were sitting up in the campsite by our vehicles and noticed this couple come past who'd obviously been swimming, so we figured there's a swimming place. Came down to this beautiful little spot, only about 70 metres from us. Have a look at this. Could you ask for anything more? We've driven from Dando's campground, which is very, very pretty, out to a place where we're going to walk through a redwoods forest. California redwood, a long way from home. And what is so beguiling about tall, straight trees? Why are we so captured by them? At the ground level below the redwoods are these magnificent ferns. They're green, they're lush, they're flowing in the gentle breeze, and below there's a creek, a little waterway. This is just an idyllic spot, so green, sunlight filtering through. You really couldn't ask for more. Well, that was a rookie tourist mistake. We were looking at the wrong trees. Here's the California redwoods over here. I have to change guides. Just across the road from what we thought were the redwoods, we've finally found the redwoods. And here they are. I might add the tour guide is now on probation. Unfortunately, I don't think she cares. But those trees are fantastic, eh? Marvellous, majestic. Having sorted out which trees were the Californian redwoods and which ones weren't, a kilometre further along the road, we come to Hopeton Falls, which is just beautiful. Listen to that sound. Listen to that sound. Does that not do your soul good? This morning we left Dando's campground, which was quite disappointing. We would have liked to stay there one more night, but the prediction is for rain tonight, and the exit from Dando's has 12 kilometres of windy, hilly, looks like wet or slippery when wet road. So we thought discretion was the better part of valour there and came out of Dando's campground. One of the primary purposes of the trip was to walk the Otway Fly, and here we are. We are a long way above the ground. I estimate at least 100 metres those trees to be. So we must be 40 metres above the ground. So now we're at the end of the cantilever part of the fly, which is a little bit sway, to tell you the truth. Moves around a bit as people walk on it, but it's all good. Beautiful views. And at the end of the cantilever, at the beginning of the cantilever, you can climb this tower. A good sign to see, especially on the way back. So we walked out on this piece of infrastructure, and now we're going to go back
Visitor centre.
to the visitor centre on this piece of infrastructure. A different walk. This one looks like it's lower, clearly because it's heading down to the visitor centre. This is an amazing place. Great piece of engineering too, to put the whole thing together. Especially as it's, I don't know, 30 to 40 metres above the ground. Seems like more than that, but that's all it is. There's the cantilever from the walkway back to the visitor centre. That was quite something. So if you come this way, the Otway Fly is a definite must. Not only because of the beauty of walking amongst the foliage, but just to see the engineering feat. It's incredible. And down below you, those beautiful ferns again.